How are you? I'm sure that all of you are enjoying your life and following the classes. And the previous classes we discussed the first and second part of lesson number 2, that is Miss Donovan's Dog. And today we are going to see the last part, the third part of the story. And I hope that all of you remember the story that we discussed till now. I'm sure you are attending the classes and watching the videos regularly, and I had given some homeworks like writing the vocabularies, and I expect all of you have done the homeworks, and now we will see the next part of the story. Before we start our class, I would like to give a brief idea about the story that we discussed so far. The central character in the story is Miss Donovan, and she lost her dog one day in an accident. So the doctor or the author here, that is Mr. Harriet, he advised Miss Donovan to get a new dog, but Miss Donovan was not ready to get a new dog. And in that situation, the same doctor, Mr. Harriet, he saw a dog in a pathetic condition, and he examined, and after the examination he found that dog in pathetic condition is a good dog or a good golden retriever. And then the conversation between Mr. Harriet and the person who is in charge for preventing cruelty towards animals, the conversation between both of them are going on. Then suddenly Mr. Harriet notices Miss Donovan is present there watching the animal carefully. And now we will continue the lesson. Now you may please take page number 18. When I got back to the shed, Miss Donovan was already inside examining the dog. The last class we had seen the last paragraph. There Mr. Harriet or the doctor suggested Mr. Halliday. Halliday is the inspector to get good condition powders and the shampoos which were required for treating this poor animal, the dog. And it is something very difficult to find such a kind of shampoos and miracle working condition powders. So Mr. Harriet went to his vehicle in order to get some kind of medicine to make the dog sleep. That time when the doctor went to car, that time Mrs. Donovan, who was waiting outside, she entered and she just examined the dog. When I got back to the shed, so Mr. Harriet, the doctor, he came back to the shed after taking the medicine. Then he found that Miss Donovan is already there in the shed, and Miss Donovan was already inside examining the dog. That time Miss Donovan was examining the dog, and this was the purpose of the doctor, because he wanted to Miss Donovan to get inside and check the animal and to be familiar with the animal. That is why he made such a kind of opportunity there. Then she started to speak with Mr. Harriet. "Look," she said excitedly, pointing to the name roughly scratched on the collar. "His name is Roy." She smiled up at me. "It is a bit like Rex, isn't it, that name?" So here, after examining, Miss Donovan found something, that she found the name of the dog. The name of the dog, it is Roy, and it is scratched on the collar. The name is roughly scratched on the collar, and the name it is Roy. And after that, that is the most important word here. It is bit like Rex. What was the name of her old dog? That is Rex. I hope that you remember the name. The dog which had met with an accident. That the name is Rex, and here the new dog, that name is Roy. And after that she is saying, "Isn't it that name? It is bit like Rex, isn't it that name?" That means she finds some similarities with Rex and Roy. What did she say earlier? She said that I cannot replace Rex, and I cannot think any dog or any animal in the place of my favorite Rex. But here her attitude changes. At least she admits that this poor dog, at least in his name, Roy, he is in a way similar to the other one, that is Rex. The other one, Rex. You know, Miss Donovan, now you mention it. It is. It's very like Rex, the way it comes off your tongue. I nodded seriously. Nodded means move the head, and here the doctor also admits the comment by Miss Donovan, and he says that it is just like your old dog Rex. Even the name is similar, Rex and Roy. Somehow it is similar and it is just like your old one. She stood silently for a few moments, obviously in the grip of a deep emotion. Then she burst out, "Can I have him? I can make him better. I know I can. Please, please, let me have him." So here Miss Donovan wanted to speak something to the doctor. What is that? She wanted to take that dog with her. She says she stood silent for a few moments. Obviously means clearly, sure that in the grip of deep emotion, to speak from with all the emotion, she burst out, "Can I have him? Can I take the dog? I can make him better." And she assures that she can make the dog better. And we know that the situation of the dog, it is very pathetic, and already the inspector asked the doctor whether someone is there to give a good shelter for this one, good care for this one. And doctor also wanted to give this dog to a person who can take care of this dog in a better way. Now here Miss Donovan, she herself says that she is ready to take care of this poor animal. "Well, I don't know," I said. "It is really up to the inspector. You will have to get his permission." So here the doctor, he cannot do anything with that one because it is not his duty. It is the duty of the inspector. An inspector is already there. So Mr. Harriet is asking Donovan to ask inspector in order to get the permission. Halliday looked at her in a bewilderment. Then he said, "Excuse me, madam," and drew me to one side. We walked a few yards through the long grass and stopped under a tree. So that the conversation between the doctor and Miss Donovan was going on, and the inspector, that is Halliday, he was watching the conversation. Then he looked at Miss Donovan with a bewilderment. Bewilderment means, I already explained the meaning, that is with a confusion. Then he asked Miss Donovan to excuse them and drew the doctor to somewhere. For what purpose? He wanted to speak something to doctor. We walked a few yards through the long grass and stopped under a tree in order to make a talk with the doctor. The inspector drew the doctor to a nearby place. "Mr. Harriet," he whispered, "I don't know what is going on here, but I just can't pass over an animal in this condition to anybody who has a casual whim. The poor beggar's had one bad break already. I think it's enough. This woman doesn't look like a suitable person." I told that the inspector, Halliday, was observing the conversation between the doctor and Miss Donovan. The conversation between Mr. Harriet and Miss Donovan. So that is why he is saying to the doctor, Mr. Harriet, that he doesn't know what is going on there. So all over a sudden a woman comes and asking that she will take care of the animal which is in a pathetic condition. So the police officer or the inspector, he was totally surprised and confused. And he says that he can't give this dog to the woman. "I just can't pass over an animal in this condition." We know the condition of the dog. It is in a poor condition, pathetic condition. So the inspector says to the doctor that he cannot give the dog to this woman, and the dog is in a pathetic condition, and this woman might have come with a sudden casual whim. Casual whim means a sudden wish to do something. So by coincidence, by somehow she came, she had a wish. The wish is to have the dog, and the person who is having such a kind of sudden wish, I cannot hand it over. The inspector says to Mr. Harriet, he says to the doctor, he doesn't know what is going on there. and he is not able to give the dog to this woman who is having sudden wish to have this poor dog. The reason why he can't give this dog to the woman called Miss Donovan is that he says the poor beggars had one back break already. That means this poor beggar here, that is the dog named Roy, and inspector says that the dog already faced a lot of problems and troubles in his life, and it is undergoing a pathetic situation, and that is enough. I cannot give one more time such a kind of experience to this poor creature. I think that is enough. This woman doesn't look like a suitable person. This person is not looking suitable, and she may not be able to take care of this animal proper manner. I held up a hand. Believe me, Inspector, you have nothing to worry about. She is a funny old stick, but she has been sent from heaven today. If anybody in Darobai can give this dog a new life, it's her. Now here the doctor gives an assurance to the inspector that Miss Donovan is the suitable, the best person to take care of this poor creature named Roy. And he says, she looks like a funny old stick. She looks very funny, but at present she has been sent from heaven with a mission. What is the mission? To take care of this poor animal called Roy. If anybody in Darobai can give this dog a new life, it's her. And the doctor is sure that only Miss Donovan can give a good life to this dog in Darobai. No others can give such a kind of good life to this dog rather than Miss Donovan. And here from this paragraph we can understand that the doctor assures to inspector that Miss Donovan will take care of the animal in a perfect manner. Halliday still looked very doubtful, but I still don't get what was all that stuff about him needing shampoos and condition powders. But still the inspector is in doubt because he doesn't know about Miss Donovan, and he is confused about the statement of the doctor which he made earlier. He told inspector that the dog needs shampoos and miracle working condition powders, and he was just again thinking about that one. Then the doctor says, oh, never mind about that one. You need not to worry about the condition powders and shampoos, and I will tell about that later. Why? Because the doctor said about the miracle working powders or the shampoos only because in order to get the attention. Only because in order to get the attention of Miss Donovan. That is why he referred the shampoo and the miracle working condition powders. And he assures once again what he needs is lot of good grub. Grub means food, care and affection, and that is just what he will get. You can take my word for it. He assures to the inspector that the things which are needed for the dog he will get surely. And what all are the things mentioned here? Grub, food, care and affection, and all these three he will get from Miss Donovan. Alright, you seem very sure. Halliday looked at me for a second or two, then turned and walked over to the eager little figure by the shed. So here the inspector also agrees with the doctor, and he is ready to hand over the dog to Miss Donovan, and he went away from the situation. So this is the end of this scene. The first scene we had seen about the tragic event happened in the life of Miss Donovan and the death of poor dog called Rex. And now in this scene we had seen the pathetic condition of a dog named Roy, and Miss Donovan comes there as a savior to the particular dog named Roy. And now we will go to the next scene. I had never before been deliberately on a lookout for Miss Donovan. She had just cropped up where I happened to be. So here the doctor says that never in his life he waited to see Miss Donovan. But these days he is waiting for seeing Miss Donovan. She had just cropped up. That means she always used to present before him wherever he was. But nowadays he is actually trying to see Miss Donovan, but now I scan the streets of Darrowby anxiously day by day without sighting her. Earlier, what had happened, he never minded this girl, this woman, Miss Donovan, and whenever she is there, then somehow they met each other, and never deliberately he was trying to meet her. But after this incident, after handing over Roy to Miss Donovan, then every day the doctor examined the street to see Miss Donovan, but he didn't see her. It must have been nearly 3 weeks, and I was on the point of calling at her home when I noticed her stumping briskly along the far side of the marketplace, peering closely into every shop window exactly as before. And the doctor wanted to see Miss Donovan, but she was not there on the street. So actually the doctor wanted to make a call and to ask her to come to his home. But all over a sudden, after 3 weeks, I noticed her stumping briskly. That means quick walk. Stumping means walk, and briskly means quickly walking along the far side of the marketplace, peering closely into every shop, looking into all the shops there, and exactly as before, as she used to do before, she was doing the same thing. And he find Miss Donovan, she is very active and she is back to street. The only difference was that she had a big yellow dog on the end of the lead. The difference now it is that now there is a big yellow dog on its lead. Earlier it was a terrier dog, small one, and after that, after the death of Rex, no dogs were there, and now a big dog is with her. That is the difference. So he wanted to see Miss Donovan, and for a long time he didn't see Miss Donovan. Then after 3 weeks he got a chance to meet Miss Donovan, and she was just coming to the marketplace, looking and peering into all the marketplace and the markets or the shops, and finally he found that there is a difference. And what is the difference? On its lead there is a big yellow dog, and that dog is Roy. The next paragraph. When she saw me, she stopped and smiled at me impishly. Impishly means in a mischief manner. So here Miss Donovan saw the doctor, Mr. Harriet, and she smiled at Mr. Harriet. But she didn't speak as I bent over Roy and examined him. So Miss Donovan didn't speak anything to the doctor because doctor was examining the animal. And what was his findings? He was still a skinny dog. Still the dog is very skinny and very thin, but he looked bright and happy. Earlier it was not the condition. The dog was skinny and at the same time it was in a pathetic condition and a depressed condition. But here now the doctor examined and understood that the dog is still skinny, but it looks very happy and bright. And his wounds were healthy and granulating. Granulating means healing. The wounds are healing. So there is an improvement in the health condition of the dog, and there was not a speck of dirt in his coat or on his skin. Earlier we had seen that his coat, the skin was covered with dust and dirt. Now nothing is there. Everything is clean and perfect. I knew then what Miss Donovan had been doing all this time. So then the doctor understood what Miss Donovan was doing for the last 3 weeks. She was just washing, combing and teasing other filthy tangle. Filthy tangle means the hair which is twisted with the dust and everything. So she was just making the hair very perfect, and that was the changes she brought in the life of the dog. So that was the reason the doctor didn't see her on the street, because she was busy with treating this animal. Then as I straightened up, she seized my wrist in a grip of surprising strength and looked up into my eyes. Now, Mr. Harriet, she said, haven't I made a difference to this dog? We have seen that the doctor was examining the dog, and after that he just stood up. That time Miss Donovan grabbed the hand of the doctor and asked whether she had made some kind of changes in the life of the dog. And we know that there are many changes, because earlier the dog was in a miserable and pathetic condition and it was very thin and it was suffering a lot, but now in the eyes of the dog, happiness, brightness, everything is there, and the dog made the woman, Miss Donovan, she was just trying to make the dog a perfect breed. In an answer to that, when the doctor says that you have done wonders, Miss Donovan. What is the wonders referred here? That is the changes brought by Miss Donovan in the life of this poor animal, and we had seen the changes Miss Donovan brought in the life of this animal. Then again he says, I said, and you have been at him with the marvelous shampoo of yours, haven't you? And we know about the shampoo and the miracle working condition powders, and the doctor is asking, so you were just washing the dog with your miracle working shampoo, that is why these changes are there. She giggled and walked away. She giggled and walked away. She giggled means she just smiled at the doctor in a casual manner and walked away without saying anything. From that day, I saw the two of them frequently but at distance. Something like 2 months went by before I had a chance to talk to her again. Here, Miss Donovan and the dog both were on the street every day, and the doctor used to see. But only after 2 months, they got a chance to speak again. She was passing by the surgery as I was coming down the steps, and again she grabbed my wrist. So he got a chance to speak with her while she was passing just in front of his operation room or the hospital. Mr. Harriet, she said, just as she had done before, haven't I made a difference to this dog? So here again she is asking to the doctor whether she had made some more changes in this poor animal named Roy. I looked down at Roy with something akin to awe. Akin to awe means with an admiration he looked at the dog. And what is the reason for that? That we will see in the next lines. He had grown and filled out. First reason. The dog became very big. Earlier it was very weak, but now the dog became very big. And his coat, what is the changes brought in the coat? No longer yellow, but a rich gold lay in luxuriant shining swatches over the well-fleshed ribs and back. Earlier, the coat, the skin, it was yellow in color, but now it became golden, very shining. The coat, the skin of this particular dog is shining like anything, and it was luxuriant shining swatches over the swatches mean the large area of backside over the well-fleshed ribs and back. Everywhere the hair was hanging, and it was something very beautiful. And one more change it is there, well-fleshed ribs. Earlier it was a skeleton. Ribs were visible, but now flesh is there, and it became big and grown up. A new brightly studded collar glittered on his neck, and his tail, beautifully fringed, fanned the air gently. So new collar it is there, and above the tail it is fringed. That means the hair is hanging, and fanned. That means in the wind it was just moving side to side. He was now a golden retriever in full magnificence. That means in all the attractiveness, this dog became a golden retriever. And earlier the doctor only realized that there is a golden retriever in this dog, but Miss Donovan made it real, and she brought out the golden retriever out from the bag of bones. Now the dog became a perfect dog, a good golden retriever. As I stared at him, he reared up, plunked his forepaws into my hands, and looked into my face. The doctor was just watching the dog. That time the dog reared up. Reared means he just turned backside and looked at the doctor and plunked his forepaws, putting something very heavily. That is the meaning of plunk. That means the dog put the forepaws on the hands of this person, that is the doctor. And then the dog looked into the eyes of Mr. Harriet. In his eyes, I read plainly the same calm affection and trust. So what did the doctor read from the eyes of the dog? He found the same calm affection and trust that he noticed when the dog was in that noisome shed. Noisome means the unpleasant shed. There also we notice the doctor, he found that there is a calm affection and trust when doctor approached the dog, and now also the doctor realized the same affection and trust after seeing the doctor. Miss Donovan, I said softly, he is the most beautiful dog in Yorkshire. Yorkshire may be the village or the district, a big city, and Darrowby may be a particular small town in Yorkshire. And he says that in the entire Yorkshire area, this is the best dog. Then, because I knew she was waiting for it, it is those wonderful condition powders. What do you put in them? So the next words for that one, Miss Donovan was waiting. What is that? It is about the miracle working condition powders. Earlier he asked about the shampoos when she made some changes on the hair and the coat. Now it is about the condition powders, and with that only the dog became very healthy and fit, and she was actually waiting for that question from the doctor, and doctor asked the question, but what is the answer from Miss Donovan? Oh, wouldn't you like to know? She said and smiled up to me. She is asking, do you want to know? But she didn't say, and she just smiled at the doctor. So I hope that you understood the story. It is very simple actually. It shows, as I told earlier, it shows the love between human being and the animal, and it also gives us a message that we can even change the bad situation into a good situation. You just go through the life of the dog Roy. He was in a pathetic condition and miserable condition, but Miss Donovan, she brought changes in the life of the dog. That means the miserable and the pathetic condition, that also we can change in our life. Hope that all of you understood the story. It is very simple, and now you may please read the story once again, and if you have any doubts, you can send the message and I will clarify the doubts in the next class. You may read the lesson, and when you read, find out new vocabularies and write down and with the meaning. And in the exercise, you may please write all the question answers and there is a homework for you, that is write all the question answers, and there is a homework for you, that is write answer to all the questions given in your textbook. Thank you. Have a nice day.